It's just so cheesy. I just love it. I can't.
I like it. I dig it. I dig it.
I make them for every video, and every time when I'm making them, I'm like, so it's like, anyways, it's nice to see it. So welcome back, everybody. So this is my 32 fan series. So 32 different fans, 32 different NFL teams. Obviously, we're here to talk about the Vikings, but just to level set a little bit, this is recorded in May, right after the draft. So if anything happens, free agency, anything crazy happens, any injuries, or just anything happens, we're not going to talk about it in this episode because we will not have known that it's happening. So that's the first thing. Second thing is I like to say over and over is that everybody has the same questions. Now, everyone's going to interpret those questions differently. And so you might find some of the conversations vary, but overall, we're all going to be talking about the same thing. So I never want, sometimes I feel like people, like somebody has written in my comments before, like, why didn't so-and-so did it? And I'm like, because so-and-so didn't interpret the question that way. Like that's not what they got. So anyway, so I want you to introduce yourself, let the people know who you are. This is my first time actually being able to do something with you. So I'm super excited that you're here. So whatever you want to share will be great. And then we'll just get started.
Yeah. So I first want to thank you for having me on the platform. I appreciate you reaching out and giving me the opportunity to be here with you. I've been watching your stuff and you know ball. Let's just say that.
Nice.
So I gotta be on my A. Got to be on my A game tonight for sure. But my name is Rap and my channel is Vocal Vike. Obviously Minnesota Vikings, and started YouTube a couple of years ago and just love football in general, but really the Vikings. I'm married to the Vikings and just love everything about them. I've been a fan since I was 10 years old, Randy Moss era, Adrian Peterson, things like that. So, I just figured I should pick up a mic and start talking about my team. So that's kind of how I landed here with you tonight too, from just doing that. So, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much about me and what I do here on YouTube for sure.
I like it. And I always tell everybody, I don't think anybody ever believes me, but before I do these collaborations, I always go watch people's channels because I just want to see like how they talk about their team. Can they criticize their team? Because you find a lot of fans can't criticize their team, and I don't need that. Like I need somebody that can actually, let's just have a conversation. If it's not good, it's not good. So anyways, I appreciate that about you, is that you're just going to be honest. And I appreciate when people, because we'll get into this, but I appreciate when people like have a thought about something and they share the thought and then they come back later and they're like, you know what? I've had a second look. I don't really love it like I thought I loved it. So I just appreciate that. So thanks for sharing. So thanks for being that human, and thank you for like providing that. I think that's amazing. Absolutely. So I feel like 2024 probably ended with a little bit of heartbreak for you all, or a little bit like not where you wanted to be. So I would love to know just like your high level overview about 2024, and then what song do you think represents your 2024 season?
Yeah. So going into the season, I don't think not just for me as a Vikings fan, but I think around the community in general, I think the majority of fans, Vikings fans, we had low expectations going into the season. Now, obviously, as a fan, you're going to always, we're going to win 13, 14 games. Right. But I think the reality is we drafted JJ McCarthy. We knew there was a possibility he could be the starter. There was a possibility there. Kevin O'Connell had a checklist for him. He was checking off the boxes up until the injury. So, and people like me, I mean, I'm a JJ McCarthy fan only because obviously Michigan is my college team that I support.
Okay.
And
shame on you. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. But it's not just that. I think a lot of people got confused on, why I really like JJ McCarthy. They thought that it was just because of that reason, which it really wasn't. Like Jaden Daniels was my number one quarterback that I wanted, but JJ McCarthy was number two. And it's because of, the dog in him. But it's just one of those things where we go into the season, we know we got Sam Darnold. You look at Sam Darnold before coming to our team and you're like, I mean, what's the most we're going to get out of Sam Darnold? Like, there's some, you see something there when you watch him on Carolina and you watch the couple snaps he had in San Fran and you're like, okay, maybe there's something there. But he hit us by surprise, to say the least, right? Like started winning games. We go 5-1. And then we keep on rolling. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is looking good. He got our hopes up. And I think that's the issue, right? As we went into the season, low expectations. After about 5 weeks, we're like, Super Bowl, maybe, I don't know, maybe compete for that. Like maybe, just maybe, and then we get to when it mattered the most. And it was the playoff game. And it's one of those things, not just the playoff game, but the game for the number 1 seed, because we played Detroit for that number 1 seed.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And we got dominated, and Sam Darnold went into his shell. And I'm not going to put all the blame on the quarterback. At the end of the day, there were a lot of things that went wrong, but he was majority of the issue on the Detroit game in particular, because he was just missing so many throws. He was just off that night. Just had to be off that night, So yeah, it was a little heartbreaking. But then as like a week or two kind of passed, and we took the L by the Rams, and it passed, you know what? I sat back and I said, this season was exciting. I mean, it was fun to be a Vikings fan. Only one team ultimately gets the win. There's only one fan base that's ultimately going to be excited and get the fulfillment that we all look for. So it was one of those things where it's like, you know what? Hey, Sam Darnold, $10 million. He was a backup, really. Came to our team. We won 14 games. We had this roller coaster ride where we're winning games. We're blowing teams out, whatever the case may be. I'm going to be grateful. I'm going to be grateful. I like it. So if I had to pick a song, my song is called, because, I got to give my community a shout out. All right. And this is a guy named De Niro. And he has a song called Best There's Ever Been. And it's a song about Justin Jefferson. And it's just, it has kind of like the production on it is really good. I got to send it to you. I got to send you an email.
Is it on YouTube? Is it? And I'll link it. If I can link it in the comment section for the description notes, I will add it in there.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll send it. Okay. I don't know if it's on YouTube. It's a possibility. I'll have to check with them. But if not, either way, we'll figure out a way. But that's the song. So it's pretty much best. It's the best he ever been. It talks about Justin Jefferson and just everything he does for the game, not only just the game, but the Minnesota Vikings. And it's just kind of just popping the ish, like letting everybody know that we got the best receiver in football. Now you can argue that, but we're gonna stand on that.
Who do you usually get pushback for? Who's usually in the conversation with them?
Jamar Chase.
Is it Chase? Okay.
Yeah, Jamar Chase. Yeah. And then there was a year where it was Tyreek Hill too, but Tyreek Hill kind of after last year that kind of died down. But Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, it's always Jamar's better. It's like,
Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny? They all come from like the same. You're like,
they all
that team was ridiculous. Ridiculous. Like, the longer time goes on, the more the better that team looks. Like we all knew they were good then, but like even more time, I'm like, they were all on the same team, by the way. I don't know if you remember. Like I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah. Chase, Jefferson, Burrow. Like, that was crazy.
I tell people all the time, they're like, and who was the running back? I don't remember who the running back was, but people talk about them all the time. Whoever the running back was. And I'm like, you realize that everybody you just mentioned that are on different teams now we're all on the same team. Like all of them. That's awesome. So how did you like free agency? I think free agency, that was all right for you. How did you like free agency? Was there any moves? I know that you have Hargrave. He's a former Steeler. So I feel like I see that every time he goes somewhere. He was at the Eagles. He's at the 49ers. I'm like, he never made his way back to the Steelers. It's fine. I'm over it now, kind of. But how did you like your free agent moves? How are you feeling that the team did? Like, what are your thoughts?
So I feel really good. One thing about our GM is we have something to really criticize when it comes to his drafting, but when it comes to free agency, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah is amazing at it. All right, not only this year but last year. Now Hargrave, great pickup because obviously he got hurt last year with San Fran. I mean, coming from when he got signed from the Eagles to San Fran, he was at the peak. I mean, I remember that year before he got signed, he got a big payday because he was dominating. So, and that's what Kwesi does is he looks for those type of signals and says, you know what, maybe there's still another year or two that you can do that. So, even though you may be getting older, we can get you for a lot less than what your value was 2 years ago, but you still probably have some of that game in you. Let's see what we can get out of you, especially with Brian Flores. So free agency was great this year. We got Jonathan Allen. We picked up Isaiah Rodgers from the Eagles, cornerback from there. So, and then just recently re-signing Van Ginkel to a 2-year extension, which I think was super important. I mean, Van Ginkel is just a fan favorite for a ton of reasons.
I didn't see that signing. Okay.
Yeah. So he got a 2-year extension and he's a fan favorite for a ton of reasons. I mean, not only just his play on the field, just a stand-up guy. You know, just a fan favorite, and I think that was critical. Bringing Byron Murphy back, making sure we extend him because he is CB1 and he earned that last year.
Yeah,
A lot
he
of us
did.
fans say I was pounding the table for him when he was a free agent coming from Arizona. And I remember I was doing a show, I was live, and then the news broke. I cut that show off only because I had like 3 videos leading up to that show saying, listen, the Vikings absolutely need to get Byron Murphy. I don't care what other player you get this free agency. Byron Murphy needs to be a Minnesota Viking. And you know what? It started out slow. It did. When we first signed him, it started out slow. Oh, he's getting cooked, this, that, and the third. Well, last year, he's finally in his bag now. And he
I
earned
love it.
He earned it this
Good
year.
for
So that
him.
was another big move there. Harrison Smith coming back again for one more year. Hopefully this is last year. You know, I love Harrison Smith, but you got to give it up
Trying to
at
make
some
some
point.
business decisions. Yeah.
You got to give it up at some point, man. You know,
Yeah.
but again, still exciting. And then last but not least, why I think the free agency this year is excited for me was JJ McCarthy, just kind of the whole process of him getting, you know, rehabilitation, going through rehab, getting back better. Kevin O'Connell kind of solidifying that, hey, he looks good. He's ready to go.
I was just gonna say, have any like videos released, or like has anybody seen him throwing, or has anybody seen him? Okay, so he's like 100% then back.
Yeah, so the word is he's 100%. All right, he said it himself. He's 100%. Kevin O'Connell has said it. Now, again, sometimes you know how it is. They'll say things that kind of because there is still a time window that they know they have some grace there. They know there's still a couple months before he technically has to go out there and really see if he's 100% for sure. But there was a video that came out 2 days ago that the Vikings actually released because they had the voluntary kind of the 2-day thing where they kind of just go out there and throw or toss the ball around and stuff. So he was out there throwing the ball and stuff and look good, look good. And obviously it's shorts and tank tops. So you don't really want to put too much weight into it, but it's still exciting as a Vikings fan to see our QB1, is out there and at least with the team and not with a big leg brace on that he was when he first got hurt. So
facts. And at least you have a QB1. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you could be on a team and cheer for a team that doesn't have a QB1. So I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm not talking about anybody in particular.
Are you a Steelers fan? Are you? You're Steelers, right? Okay.
I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, who else doesn't have a QB1?
I was going to say, when you said that, I was like, yeah, Steelers. All right. Makes sense.
Yeah. That's how we're rolling this year. So I'm like, all right, everyone's like, calm down. There's a plan. And I'm like, nope.
Mason Rudolph? Okay.
I honestly think the plan is Aaron Rodgers, and
I do too.
I have so many thoughts. This episode's not about me, but I like, as a fan of football, there's so many things that you think are basic, and things that you're like, for example, why would you head into a season and you're about to have rookie mini camp and you don't know who QB1 is? Like, I mean, I don't understand that. It's like, it's like my job. If I did like the basic, if I didn't do the basic thing, my boss would be like, what are you doing? What are you actually doing? So that's kind of how I felt. I'm like, nobody get excited. I don't even know where quarterback's going to be. So at this point, I have a running joke that I'm like, either put Pickens at quarterback and let him throw the ball to Metcalf, or put Metcalf there and let him throw the ball to Pickens, because what are we going to do?
Yeah.
So, anyways, so
I mean, real quick was, Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if you were seeing the reports with Aaron Rodgers, but, we were the first team on his list.
Y'all were the first,
He actually wanted to come to Minnesota, and I was so happy that the Vikings didn't commit to that, because that would have just ruined our whole plan of, me. I'm very big on sticking to the plan, being intentional. And you drafted JJ McCarthy. Do not go and get a veteran because you believe that he's the same guy from 10 years ago and think he's going to save your franchise. Stick to the plan. So I'm glad that the Steelers kind of took over that and we kind of opted out. So it made me feel good as a Vikings fan.
We'll just pick up the trash for you. That's what we're here for. So, and it does have everything to do with Aaron Rodgers and nothing to do with the Steelers. So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And I'll just leave it. I'll just leave that where it's at. So let's talk about the big positive. Let's talk about your swing. So for those of you that are going to watch this episode And when you go back and watch all of his content, by the time this releases, you will see the swing I'm talking about. There was this is who I want to have for drafting. This is what I hope we do, to, okay, we didn't do what I wanted to do, but like, this is okay, to, wait a second, is this okay, to, this ain't it. Like, so how is, like, first of all, am I explaining that correctly? And then I would love to know what started to happen. Like, how did you go from okay to what are we doing?
Yeah. So I think what it started with, the position is for the first pick, right? Donovan Jackson,
offensive lineman. Okay.
Offensive lineman, left guard. We needed that. That is a need. Okay. That is something where, going back really quick to the free agency, bringing in Will Fries, bringing in Kelly from Indianapolis. So we got a new center and a right guard. We already had our left tackle and our right tackle in Darrisaw and O'Neal. So we needed a left guard. That's kind of the position. So the intentionality behind the position, I give it an A. But then I had to think about the player. And I admitted this, and I think what it was, we were doing mock drafts on my channel, the community, voting on this player, voting on that player. I seen 1,000 mocks, and Donovan Jackson just wasn't on anybody's list. So when the name came across, that's not to say that he wasn't deserving to be there. I'm just saying, it was more the unknown of the player that made me kind of shocked at first. Position, perfect. Player, I'm not aware. So I guess, I needed to do my homework. So I did, right? And I went from, okay, when it first happened, I'm like, who is this? What? Hold on, wait a minute. All right, I'm having PTSD from when we passed on Kyle Hamilton to get Lewis Seen, because you wanted to be different and think like, oh, Kyle Hamilton, I know he seems like the generational talent, but let me show you how to do this thing here called being different, and we're going to go get Lewis Seen instead. Nobody knows about him, but I'm going to show you he's going to be the next best thing, and it backfired. And so I got PTSD when I heard Donovan Jackson's name. I'm like, yo, hold up a minute. Now you telling me this person was on the board, that person was on the board, but you went with this name. Okay, cool. At least the position was right. But then again, did my homework, all right? And then Ty Felton. Ty Felton is the one that really made me feel like, wait a minute. All right. Now we're starting to get in the weeds a little bit, only because wide receiver for me, again, I'm going off at the position, not really trying to judge the player first. I'm just thinking about the position. You have Justin Jefferson. You have Jordan Addison, which I know the suspension is up in the air. He got the DUI, I believe, or something like that. So yes, there's a possibility that there's a 2-game suspension, 3-game suspension. I don't think that is worth using a pick, especially when you only have 4 picks going into the draft. Now we ended up with 5, but you only had 4. You had the least of any team in the NFL going in. So these are critical, 4 critical picks. Wide receiver was not a need. You have TJ Hawkinson on the roster. That's also, hey, some people have him top 5 tight end, whatever the case may be. I like him. I think we can replace him, but I do like him, and I do believe he can still produce. To me, going wide receiver, going pass catcher, I'll just say that just didn't make sense to me. So it brought me down. Then you got,
and that's not why you all lost. Like, that's not. Yeah.
Right. So it just was, it's like, okay. And then obviously the community influences me a little bit. I like to lean on my community a lot. So I get the, hey, rap, give them a chance, go watch them. I'm telling you, boom, boom, boom. So then I do my homework. And I feel like every time I do my homework is when I start learning the truth. And I'm like, hold up. This guy dropped how many passes? Wait a minute. Like, oh my goodness. But, and then so I do the homework like they asked me to do. But see, that you don't want to ask me to do the homework, because I'm going to go in, and I'm going into it with good intentions too. Like, I'm like, wide receiver 3 for sure. Wide receiver, I know he going to be that person. And then I'm like, oh my goodness gracious. And then, but I do like the way he moves with the ball. I will say that. There is things to like. I'm not going to say that he's going to be just horrible, because at the end of the day, his expectation is wide receiver 3. That's his expectations.
Fair. And the other thing I I always say, and I'm starting to try to be better at like being more disciplined. Like I want my team to be disciplined, right? Like stop jumping off sides for God's sakes. Like stop doing basic things. Like, and so I'm trying to be more disciplined as a football watcher. But sometimes some of the things that happen, I'm like, I can't make sense of this actually, because like we lost because our offensive line gave up too many sacks. Like it's just terrible. So the answer to that is let's go get some wide receivers. Let's just kind of see how that works out. But yeah, so I it was interesting watching your, like, you were like, okay, you know what? I give a chance. But now I'm kind of like catching you on the downside and I'm like, oh, okay. So I want to ask you, and then I'm going to have to talk about Silas Bolden because he needs his moment. So I'll talk about him in a second.
Yeah, we'll do that.
But who was your favorite, like what draft pick were you like, all right, fine, whatever. And then what draft pick were you like, why did we get him? I don't get it.
Yeah. So Todd, we'll just stick to the why did we get him? I don't get it. There'll be two actually. I'll say.
Oh wow, out of the 5.
Gavin Bartholomew, all right, tight end out of Pitt. You know, again, I think it's my team. There were people on the board there. First of all, let me just let you know. Kobe Bryant was one of my favorite players.
I was to say you wanted the guy from Kansas.
I mean, come on, man. Like, you go tight end, and cornerback is actually a need for us. It's not a desperate need, but I mean, you can never have enough ballers in that room just in case.
That's fair.
Right?
Okay.
So Bartholomew, to me, I'm like, man, you couldn't do better than that. Not to knock or slight the kid. At the end of the day, man, maybe he turns into something. Okay, he's a 7th round, I think 6th round pick, or was it a 7th or 6th? I got to go back and look. But anyways, that and Ty Felton. So really, the pass catchers were the ones that I was like, what are you doing? The one I really like is Kobe King coming out of Penn State. I like Kobe King. I know he wasn't graded super high going into this process, but what I will say is I like his the sideline speed, and I like the way that he just goes and lays the hat. All right. I'm big. When I watch linebackers, I like linebackers that don't pull up at all. What I mean is they're running full speed in a gap to make a tackle. You got some linebackers who stop and brace for the hit. And then you got some linebackers who just run straight through. And he's that guy. Whether he does a one arm and he spins around in the backfield after, dragging the guy, whatever the case may be, he just seems like he lays it on the line. And for that, I like. There's things he needs to clean up, but I think he's going to be the surprise pick. And then obviously Donovan Jackson, again, I'll say if you're going to grade him, I think he is the top tier pick of our draft. We only had 5 anyway, so there's not a lot to be excited about.
And the other 2 guys, you got him in the 6th. Yeah, Kobe and Gavin are in the 6th.
Okay, Kobe and Gavin in the 6th. Okay. And then Ingram, I heard a lot of good things about him, believe it or not, coming out of Georgia. They said he was a 5-star recruit. He had an injury.
Use that with a grain of salt.
Yeah. So
the college star system is something's
like the 5-star and stuff. Yeah.
I mean, because I've been trying to figure out like what is going on. Like, how do we even assess this? And multiple people now have come back and told me that they are grading your stars are based on the NFL. So based on kind of how your build and stature that you have and how they think you're going to progress and be able to play in the NFL. So basically what I'm hearing is this is a made up projection based on how we feel and if you have big muscles. Because think about it. How else would you know?
Right.
I mean, yes, if you're fast and you're running over people, okay, I got it. But if you're just like kind of no disrespect to any frumpy looking 16, 17-year-old, 18-year-old boy, right? That's just kind of blah. And you're looking at that person and they're looking and they're going, okay, he's 6'6", 325. He might could be a tackle. He has long arms. He looks kind of coordinated. They could tone him up. And so it's like, we're just guessing. Then we're like, we're not measuring heart. We're not measuring effort. We're not measuring none of that. We're measuring measurables and what we think they're going to do in college and then how we think they're. So my whole point in going on that long explanation is, really?
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
like,
Well, that's great information. Thank you for that. Yeah, because I'm
yeah.
out here. Yeah, he was a 5-star. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, what does that
Yeah.
really mean though? So
Yeah, it doesn't. And I think too, now the other thing, and I could be wrong on this, somebody will Google search me. And if I'm wrong, I'll know. But if I'm right, nobody will ever say anything.
there you
Is
go.
I believe there's more believe there's more like 3 stars, 2 stars, maybe even 4 stars than there even is 5 stars in the NFL. And if there's usually, I think there's like 32 or 35, whatever, 5 stars, that number is wrong. Then something's wrong.
Yeah.
Like we're missing.
We're missing something.
Yeah. Like I think like TJ Watt was a 3-star. I think like a lot of these guys,
Justin Jefferson, 2-star.
you see what I'm saying? So it's like, and it's based off of what they see you and how they think you're going to mature and develop.
Yeah.
So I would actually just rather ask like AI, like,
Yeah.
like
What do you
here's the
think?
measurables.
Claude,
Yeah,
what
here's what the doctor's saying. Yeah, like here's how he's grown. Here's his bone structure. What do you think? So
makes me nervous now because JJ McCarthy was a 5-star now. So now I'm low-key nervous. Like, you know.
See, and that's why I will tell you one thing about JJ McCarthy. You're a Michigan fan, but from like somebody that's not like a Michigan fan that just like likes college football, the one thing he does well is he protects the football. The other thing I think he does well is he understands the basic things. Like I'm talking basic shit, right? Like if we need 1 yard, we only need 1 yard. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the things that sometimes you'll watch a game and you're like, why did he just throw the ball that far on when we only needed 1 yard? Like, why didn't he do the check down? Like, why?
Yeah.
So he does those little intangibles that never will show up on a stat sheet, that will never, whatever. But so if he does that and plays in the system, I think he'll be fine. Now, I don't know if JJ McCarthy will ever go win a game for you, but you might not need him to win a game for you. You might just need to make a good throw to JJ and have him win the game for you. You know what I mean? So
yeah. I trust the process. And I think as a Vikings fan, we've seen enough evidence now, like how we talked about earlier with the Sam Darnolds of the world. I mean, even Kirk Cousins, Kevin O'Connell brought an extra level out of Kirk Cousins, even believe it or not, even 7 years into his career, or whatever the case was. So, I mean, we've Josh Dobbs coming to Minnesota.
Everybody that goes to Minnesota usually kind of, so it's got to be the coach, right? And if you have that, again, I could be a 1-star, but if you give me with a good coach and I have a good, good facilities, good team, good everything around me, I'm going to be better. And I can't measure that.
Yeah. So that's why I have a lot of excitement going into the season with JJ as QB1, because I think all of that's going to play a factor for sure. Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how he plays. So Silas Bolden, he was the one guy that, because Texas was loaded, I knew he wasn't going to get like as much attention or spotlight or anything. And obviously the team was loaded in itself. Yeah. But Silas Bolden is a culture guy. And he makes culture plays, and he does the things that probably will never show up on a stat sheet. But when it's done, you look and you're like, oh, right, it was 11. Like, I hope he like goes there and excels. I mean, he made a culture play against Oklahoma, like the fumble recovery. He comes out of nowhere because he's just doing his job, literally out of nowhere, recovers the ball. He returns a punt return. In a playoff game. Like, my point is like he's just there. Like whenever you're like, we see somebody do something, like he's there. So I'm super excited that you recognized him whenever you made your video, and that he's at a place where he has other good receivers and he doesn't have the pressure of going to be the guy. He gets to be a guy. And I think that's a perfect role for him because he's used to playing that role. So that's my Silas Bolden rant. So
no, and I love and thank you for that information too, because I got to be honest. I mean, I knew who Silas Bolden was, but never really like did a ton of homework on him. Obviously, but when I saw that we brought him in as a UDFA, I was excited, and I stated in that video why I feel like he has the best opportunity to make our roster. Is because he brings something that we don't have. And I think that's always going to benefit the guy. So, because we're bringing in defensive ends. Like, I did a video on Tyler Batty today. I just don't see him making the team. Like, okay, hey, you get your opportunity, but it just doesn't fit. But somebody like Bolden, who can, like you said, take one to the house off a punt return or be that gadget player for certain formations. I mean, that's what the Vikings have been missing forever. I can't remember the last time we had a guy that we can say, all right, let's run this reverse with a guy that's fast and can get in between tackles and kind of make people miss and just take it to the house at any moment. I think he brings that. So that's why I'm excited about him. And that's why I give him the highest percentage out of all the UDFAs, because the reality is only one or two of them are really going to make the 53. Facts. And I think that he's one of those guys. If there's two of them, he's going to be one for sure.
I love it. Yeah, I hope he does well. And like I said, I feel like he's going right into a role that he came at in Texas. Is just like, you're not the guy. There's already a guy here, but we're going to support you. And all you need to do is what you can do. And I think that, to me, that job is the easiest job, because just like basically just be you. Just be you. So I would love to know how you feel about this season. I don't think you guys are rebuilding, so we'll leave that where it's at. But are you still contenders? Are you vying to win the division? Are you where are you at with your expectations for the Vikings this year?
Yeah, so my expectations are winning the division, but I'll tell you why I feel like that. Because some people might watch this video and be like, "Yo, you're going into the season with quote unquote a rookie quarterback," which I got pushback on that too, only because JJ, one thing about JJ is he didn't waste a day of being injured. He was in the room every single day at practices, doing virtual reality, studying. You know what he did? He wrote down every star defender in our division and went and watched and studied all of their tendencies and stuff. I called him a psychopath, but in a good way, because he's wired like that. And not only did I believe that, but I started hearing coaches and players coming out saying things like, yo, JJ, the way he does things is just, I'm telling you, this guy is he's writing down hit lists and stuff and just doing, which excites me. Right. So I say that to say this year right here, I go into it with division, right? We can definitely go for a division win. And the reason is because the Lions, they were the top dogs, and they've been the top dogs for 2 years now. But they just lost their defensive coordinator and their offensive coordinator. Oh, yeah. And one thing I'm not going to get sold on, and I just had this conversation with my boy, Realistic Randy, was you're not going to convince me that they're just going to be the same old team and just be able to roll out there, because those are two critical coaches that just walked out the door. And, is there a possibility that whoever else they hired, I know it's Morton and whoever their DC is there a possibility they just come in and don't miss a beat? There is, but those chances are low. Trust me, they are not going to look like the same team. So that leaves the window open for us. I'm not worried about the Bears. They always do what they do. The Bears are the Bears now. All right. And then the Packers, maybe it'll be us and the Packers fighting for the division. I don't know, but I see the window open for us winning the division. And not only that, I have us actually winning a playoff game. I think this team this year is going to be better than last year's, even if we don't win as many games. People might think that's crazy, but it's we won 14 games last year, but we can win 10, 11 games this year and still be considered a better football team than we were in 2024. So
I hear you on that, because I feel like that's what Texas is going to be too. I feel like with Arch, I feel like we're probably going to be a more well-rounded team. Now, are we going to win as many games? I don't know, but I think our team dynamics and how we look is going to be better. So I totally get that makes sense. I get what you're saying.
So you are a Texas fan. So you're a Texas Longhorn fan in college?
Yeah. So I'm a Texas Longhorn fan, Longhorn fan, Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I don't know if you know I won't talk about players. It doesn't matter. But basically when I started really getting into football, one of my favorite players from UT actually went to the Steelers. Okay. And so it just made sense from that moment on. I started they were officially my teams. Gotcha. And I was younger. Okay. Obviously I was younger. And then I support Coach Prime. So I have Colorado too. So I kind of go through this thing throughout the year where I have a favorite team depending on what they're doing. And so right now, Texas is my golden child, where I'm y'all have it figured out. Y'all will be fine. And then my Steelers, I'm I don't know what you guys are crazy. And then Colorado, I'm WTF. So that's kind of where we're at. But it honestly keeps me honest, right? Nobody can come onto my channel and say I'm nicer to one team than the other, because they're all getting the business from me any day of the week. So that's just how I do it. But so those are my teams. So that's why I know so much about Bolden too. Like,
got you. Okay.
yeah,
All right. Shout out Texas.
yeah. Shout out to my Longhorns. So, who is your most underrated player? Like the player that maybe, or position group that's most underrated that we don't often hear about or people don't normally talk about?
Like for the Minnesota Vikings, you mean like, are you
Yeah.
talking about like the rookie class, or are you talking just in general?
No, just in general. And just in general, like, is there a position group where you're like, you know, we're better at this position group than people really talk about because they talk about other things when it comes to us, or a specific player that you're like, that guy never gets any credit, but man, he's everywhere all the time.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with our linebackers. And there's one player in particular that I started this whole movement in Vikings community, and that's Ivan Pace Jr. So when Ivan Pace Jr., and he was a UDFA too. So think about that, right? So
I wonder how many stars he had in college.
Yeah. So like, this is the thing. When Ivan Pace Jr. was coming into the draft, I had him projected as a 3rd round pick. I was like, listen, the Vikings need to use a 3rd on this kid. They need to. I mean, Senior Bowl, won Senior Bowl MVP, led college football that year, and I believe pressures. I think he was up there in tackles too. He was like top 10 in all categories, really, like top 5, I believe. So I was like, yo, this guy needs to be drafted high. Like, we need to get up and get him. So he winded up falling out of the whole draft. We got him, and he has changed this linebacker room for us. Blake Cashman, don't want to forget about him, but bringing Blake Cashman in from the Texans was a excellent move. That guy flies around and tackles, does everything you need as a linebacker, communication, everything. He's just a general. He's a general out there at linebacker. And a lot of people don't talk about our linebackers because at the end of the day, we don't have the big names. We have Cashman, Ivan Pace Jr., which to me, Ivan Pace Jr. is a big name. But I started a movement called Pace Gang. So like every time people in the Vikings realm talk about Ivan Pace, they always come back to me because I was the one that was vouching for him and said he was going to make the team. Not only did he make the team, he started his first year as a UDFA, came in and was the starter. That shows you how much of a dog he is.
Yep. And he went, I was trying to see if I could see how many stars he had coming out of college.
Coming out of college?
Yeah. Or going into college, he was a 3-star.
Yeah, 3-star recruit. Yep.
So again, it's like, that's what I'm saying.
But he played like a 5-star. Yeah, for sure. You can't measure heart, and he's undersized. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I love it. Yeah.
So yeah, linebackers. To answer your question,
so
linebackers.
My screen was like, whoa. Like,
yeah, that's good.
Okay. I love that. And I love me some good linebackers. Fred Warner is my favorite linebacker in the NFL, and I will never apologize for that being the facts. So, what hot take do you have about the Vikings that the fan base doesn't necessarily agree with you?
This is the hottest take.
Did you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. The hottest take that I had was JJ McCarthy is going to be, or let's say this. I think because I did a poll. I said JJ McCarthy will finish with a better career than Fran Tarkenton. Now that's a sensitive subject for Vikings fans.
Oh, for the Vikings. Okay.
Because Fran Tarkenton, especially for the older Vikings fans, you can't tell them that he isn't the best quarterback that ever stepped on the grass. Okay. So saying something like that, I stepped out on a ledge and I said something like that, but I feel that way. And I mean that, right? Like, and I think all it's going to take is winning one Super Bowl. I think our window's open for the Vikings. First of all, as the roster's being constructed, how it is, we have our quarterback on a rookie contract, so we're able to build. We got up out of that Kirk Cousins contract that was weighing us down, and now we can move forward. So, and if he wins one Super Bowl, to me, that already answers that question because Fran Tarkenton went to 4, but he lost all of them. Right, regardless of how it played out. So, we've been to 4 Super Bowls and can't win one. So we just need a quarterback that can win one. That's it.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. If you were GM for one day, what would be your first move?
I would call right now today, like as the landscape is right now today.
Yep.
I would call the Falcons and be like, "Hey, you don't really want Kobe Bryant, do you? Like, I know he's an undrafted free agent. You're not really
Can't
feeling
let
him, are
it
you?
go.
Yeah, can you mind if we give you like what do you want? What do you want? Let's talk
Yeah.
about it. Let's talk about it.
Okay. Okay. I respect it. Sometimes that happens. You hold on to the player and now you're gonna watch his career and you're always going to be like, we could have him.
I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Like, the Shador thing is a whole nother conversation. And I feel the same about, I don't want to get you started on the Shador thing, but I feel the same about Kobe Bryant. I really do. I'm like, yo, like this guy dominated in college football at the cornerback position for 2 years, man. Like, how does he not
You know
get
what I think
drafted?
did him in? I think because of his pro
Size?
day.
Oh,
I think it was his pro day. I think it's his pro day. I
He
think it
ran
was
a
his numbers.
4.5. Yeah.
I think his measurables. And you know what else? He didn't look like a pro. Like, you know how some like we lie and we say like, oh, looks don't matter. It doesn't matter. It's about what's on the inside. That's not true. When he was there, to me, he just looks like a guy. He didn't look like, you know what I mean? And so I could see, and then he didn't perform well. So it's like now everything you saw. So I think it just happened because even like, who was it? Is his name Donovan Edwards? The running back from Michigan didn't get drafted.
I know.
And that shocked me. Yeah. So I think sometimes these people, they get in their heads and they're like, he doesn't look the part. He didn't run the part. He doesn't talk the part. And then before you know it, he's not even on your board.
Yeah.
So
which is crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. So let's do some overtime round. So I did this overtime round. There's 4 questions because like fourth down, like that was the whole thought behind it. I'm so cheesy. It's like the funniest thing.
It's good though. It's fun. It's fun. I wish everybody did shows and put them together like this. This is interesting.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. So the first overtime question, and I will preface the questions that people have started like finagling, and I'll let you answer it however you interpreted it and what the finagle has been, just so you know. So the first one is, what division rival do you love to hate the most and why?
I love to hate the Packers the most. I'm a Randy Moss fan, and I just feel like us doing the moon, the Randy Moss famous moon.
Yeah.
I just think I believe like the Packers, there's a bunch of tension there. Their fans are super annoying, you know what I'm saying? And especially on X. So we go back and forth. I love to hate them. I love to hate them. Like I'm talking about with the bottom of my heart. Like I love hating the Packers fans.
Okay, if it's like that, I need to make sure I follow on Twitter because I like it. Like I love those types of like I didn't realize how much the Rams fans didn't like the Eagles fans before they even played each other. Like the first round before it was even like they were already talking trash to each other, and I was like, what? I didn't even know that was a thing.
I think there's a bunch of teams that hate the Eagles fans. I mean, we're one of those teams too, where we don't get along with Eagles fans either. Okay. I think Eagles are just they're just the people. And if you're not, you either got to be an Eagles fan or you hate them, like for sure.
Yeah,
because they're ruthless. They booed Santa Claus. Like, come on.
They do. And maybe I'm like a terrible person, but I love that. It's one of the reasons why I like.
Well,
them.
I was born in New Jersey, so I get it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm like, give me that edge. Give me that. Like, I'm not apologizing to you for what? Like, I love it. I absolutely love it. Yeah. So, okay. So the next question is, tell me about something you would change about your franchise. So it could be ownership, stadiums, uniforms, anything that you would change.
I would change the uniform. I won't say the whole uniform, but I would bring in a blackout uniform because that's something that I wanted.
Ooh.
So yeah,
blackout with which color being
with purple, so
Okay.
it'd be black, and then there's actually a picture of one where it's all black, but then the horn on the helmet is just the outline of like a metallic purple, you know, with the black face masks, or maybe you can even have metallic purple face masks. But like, I just like that blackout. I wish our team, they went winter white instead because obviously the snow, it's cold, it makes sense. But if the Vikings did a blackout, if I could change one thing, that's what I would do, especially going into the season. We would be releasing the blackouts, and they would be crazy. Have all the fans wear black, during a good,
Yeah.
nice little Monday night, Sunday night game. I mean, what a sight to see. Doing the skull chant with the horn. It would, I'm with it.
I love that. And we're going to get to that skull chant here in a second, because I'm going to ask you after I finish the last two. So this is where it gets interesting. So the question, this is where kind of everybody has interpretation. The question is, which player would you want to swap from your team from a rival's team? It has become which player would you want to take from your rival? It has also happened to be what player would you want to steal from any team in the NFL? So you can answer this however you want. Everybody interpreted what was written differently. So I kind of like the swap idea. I think that's fun. That's how I originally intended it. But when things take a life of your own, you just got to run with it. Like, okay, let's take a player from your rival then. Who would the player be?
Yeah, I'll do the rival. Just to keep it fun too. So the Packers, I would swap and I can swap any player on my team. Like I can literally
you can swap one for one, whatever it is, whatever makes sense for you.
So I can take a star from them, but give them like a third stringer? Or should I make it kind of how about starter? It has to be starter.
Starter for starter.
Starter. Okay, that makes sense. That's a little better. All right, so I would swap. This is gonna be, people are gonna probably be mad at me about saying this, but I know we just talked about the linebacker position. Oh no, you know what? I would swap Harrison Phillips for Gary. Rashawn Gary, defensive tackle.
Okay.
What's his? Because he gives us fits all the time too. So yes,
you gotta take
hold
that
on.
guy
For the show. I want to make sure I get his. I want to make sure I got his first name. I know his name is Gary, but I can't ever remember because he's a Packer. Like I don't care honestly, but. Let's see, Packers.
But if
Rashawn Gary. I got it right. Rashawn Gary. So I would swap Harrison Phillips, who is our defensive tackle at the moment. I would swap him, which he's a player, right? Harrison Phillips, he's a player. He's looked at as a serviceable guy, plays every down. Him for Gary would be amazing. That's what I would do.
Okay, perfect. Do you want to pick a player off of anybody's team just to have on your team?
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
who would you pick?
I'm gonna go with the obvious here, Patrick Mahomes. Come on down.
You would be surprised. Like this has been, I'm telling you, and we talked about this a little bit before I started recording, but this question has been the one where I'm like, I never know what people are going to say, and everybody's interpreting it differently. So it's cool to kind of hear different people's takes. So I'm curious to see how this is going to go when I'm finished when I do all 32.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people some people have said Jamar Chase, and some people have said the defensive lineman that plays for, his name starts with the H, that plays for the Bengals. The guy who wants out, the defensive lineman, the leading sack guy.
I forget his name.
I can't think of his name. Anyway, so people are saying him too. So that's why I'm like, people are kind of like giving me answers where I'm like, I can see that.
They must have a quarterback already that's proven on their franchise. Because look, I love JJ McCarthy, but I'm gonna tell you right now, if I can get Patrick Mahomes with Justin Jefferson and Kevin O'Connell, what? We winning like 5 in a row at least.
I like it. I said mine's always Josh Allen. Like it, because I think he's perfect for a Steeler. Yeah, Josh Allen is perfect for the Steelers. AFC North, big arm, outside, bad weather. He's big, he's physical. Give me him. Like I need him on my Steelers team ASAP.
Well, so, I look forward to you talking. I don't know if you released the video, speaking of your Steelers, on Will Howard and how you feel about that. I mean, obviously we don't got to get in that tonight, but hopefully you release a video. Maybe if you already have one, send me the link. I don't know.
So I was kind of a little snarky and petty when I made my Steelers draft reaction video because I wanted Shador, and I wanted Shador. And as a fan, I wanted Shador. As a football person, it was right for us not to get him at this time, just because the timing just doesn't work. Because anyways, and now that I'm removed, so I'm one of those people that I like to kind of take a second before I make a video, because I think for me, I don't like to come on and like be like, this is terrible, and then a week later go, okay, I did research, it's a great pick, you know. So it's
like me, like how I do. I
but
go
like
off
your
the
team.
ledge.
Yeah, but that's what you do. That's totally fine. But also for me, I'm also waiting to see like if we actually do get Aaron Rodgers. Because I think if we get Aaron Rodgers, I like the pick better. And if we don't get Aaron Rodgers and Mason Rudolph is the guy, I'm like, is he going to be able to learn behind Mason Rudolph? Do you want him learning behind Mason? So that's why I'm like, I don't.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So and then of course the Steelers always go defense. So there's that. And then I have other issues with the Steelers right now. So that's why I'm just kind of like, I need to know if it's Aaron Rodgers or not. Right. Because that will make that pick better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
true.
That's my short version.
There you go.
I feel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and then the last question, another one that people are kind of, whatevering, is the question is 3 words that would that describe your fan base. Some people are making it a 3-word or a 3-word sentence. so you can even do, well, I mean,
I'll just pick 3 words. Yeah, I'll do it how you asked it.
Okay,
3 words to describe my fan base.
Yeah.
I'm going to say loyal. All right, loyal is going to be the first one. I'm going to say, believe it or not, I'm going to say rowdy. I know a lot of people don't think of the Minnesota Vikings fan base as a rowdy fan base, but I'm in the mix. All right. I'm from Charleston, South Carolina is where I reside and where I pretty much was raised. But I go to Minnesota every year. I'm in the crowds. I'm there. You know what I mean? I know how it is up there. So, and we get rowdy. We definitely.
Are we playing in Minnesota or is it in Pittsburgh? Do you know?
Don't know. I didn't double check that. I am looking forward to schedule release because we do, real quick, just shameless plug. We throw an event in Minnesota every year called Skull Fest, where we get everybody together and we just have fun. It's just a party, a Vikings party. So that's another reason why I say rowdy, because we have fun and we get rowdy. And then the next one I will say is optimistic. All right, because Vikings fans are very optimistic. We are, and I'm one of those people too. So we tend to be very optimistic.
Yeah. Interesting. I like that. I haven't heard that one yet. Heard that one. So we play you guys this year, but we play at home. So you all come to Pittsburgh. And then I'm actually sad to see that because I wanted to ask about the chant, the beginning of the game. I don't care when Minnesota is playing. I always make sure that when they're at home, I always make sure that on my TV, I'm like, has it kicked off yet? Is it 3:05? Okay, 3:15. Okay. I got to just, because I think it's one of the things I do love about college football more than the NFL. There's not a lot of things, but that's one of them, is the traditions. There's not a lot of them in the NFL. Like, obviously it's the Steelers and we have our terrible towels. Yeah. Certain things, have different things, but like, I love the beginning of the game. What is it called? It's not a horn. What is it called?
Yeah, Gallahorn. It's a Gallahorn.
The Gallahorn, the clap, all of it. What is it like to be there? Is it as amazing as it looks on TV? Is it loud? I need all the details. Do you have to be in your seat at a certain time? Is there instructions? How does it work?
So it's super loud and I love it. That's one of my favorite parts of being a Vikings fan, I will say, because it sends chills through your body every single time, especially when you're in the building. Just hearing it on TV and stuff give you chills if you just go look up videos on YouTube of the Skull Chant and US Bank. But like when you're there, I mean, usually they'll have somebody that's related to something with Minnesota, whether it's a military, it could be normal people that serve in military that are there, or former players, Randy Moss, whatever, but they beat the drum, that drum, the doom, doom, and then it keeps on getting faster and faster, the clap, everything about it. And then they blow the horn. I mean, it's just, nobody can argue and say that the Vikings don't have the best tradition. Now, people will say, oh, you stole that from soccer. That's a soccer chant. Oh, well. It's we fantastic. Making it what it is. I love it. Yeah. So thank you for bringing that up.
So is there directions? Is there if I was going there for a game, how would I know, what time does it start? I need the details.
Yeah. So what they do is it happens right before kickoff. So the chant usually takes about I don't know. I would say maybe a minute and a half at most from the beginning to
Okay.
end. So usually it's as they're lining up, like as they're lining up to kick the ball, like the kicker's walking out to put
Ah,
the ball out, and they start doom doom
okay.
because we're doing it so that after the horn blows, that's usually when the ball's kicked. So it's like right before kickoff. So as long as you're in your
Okay.
seat, I would say 5 minutes before actual kickoff, you'll catch it for sure.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how or why or when or for what reason, but I need to see it. Like, I need
Man,
the
I have
experience.
videos. Yeah, I have videos. I mean,
Yeah.
like even in the tailgates, though, believe it or not, you hear it goes down. Some people have beat
Ah,
on a random, it don't matter. They'll beat on the wall and start a skull chant. Like
it's
it
like a
doesn't
sign.
matter. Yeah,
I
they'll
love
beat on
that.
stop sign, whatever's available.
I
We
love
hitting it.
it.
Boom, boom. Hey, hey, you got guys
You know
walking
what time it
around with
is.
drums. Yep, you know what time it is,
Okay.
man. That's skull
It's kind
chant.
of
So
that. I love that. It's kind of like the
yep,
Texas fight. Anytime you hear somebody say Texas, you're supposed to just yell fight. Like it doesn't matter what's going on.
yeah,
Yeah, I love it. Great
yep,
tradition. Well,
yep.
I love that. Those were all the questions
Definitely.
that I wanted to ask and just have like a conversation with you because I always say this.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people watch football in a vacuum and meaning that they only watch
Mhm.
like their team and what's going on in their world. And I
Yeah.
love understanding the world of because I love football. Like I'm a football fan. I obviously have
Right.
fans of my teams, but like I like to see everybody's evolution. I want to hear what everybody's opinions and I watch everybody's videos and I research like I'm curious because I
Yeah.
also like to see how other people do stuff and how they talk about things because
Yeah.
I want to learn too.
Right.
So this is always fun for me. So I appreciate you just like coming on. You didn't know me from anybody. So
Right.
thank you for just responding and being willing to like chat with me. So I appreciate you for that.
Absolutely. I respect you. Obviously, I did my homework on you when you reached out. And I look at I love football too. I love the Minnesota Vikings. My channel is not so, crucial on, numbers and being the smartest guy in the room. Really, it's
Yeah.
based off of me just kind of throwing my opinions out there. So some videos may be very surface level, but it's just me giving my opinion. That's what I kind of do. And then when I need to get into the numbers and do things like that, I bring it to the table and we can have the real conversations that some people enjoy. I can tell you know your stuff. So I knew tonight was a conversation where we really need to get into it and really, talk about it for
Yeah.
real rather than just, oh yeah, I just think he's good. And that's it. And,
Yeah.
and yeah, they're gonna be all right. Yeah. Like
So
kind of
so
have the
so you
explanation.
prepared. So
I
you
prepared
prepared.
for you. I knew I
Okay.
had to.
All right.
Like I'm gonna tell you, I was just telling my partner because I just did a show with my partner before I got on here, and I was telling him, I'm like, look, man, I gotta be on my game tonight, man. Hey, she know ball now. She gonna embarrass me on this dang thing
I
tonight.
would
I
never.
gotta.
I
But no,
would
I
never.
appreciate you.
No.
I do
Yeah.
appreciate you and everything you do for the community as a whole, just the
Yeah.
football, YouTube type of community. I mean, because at the end of the day, really, you run into everybody, I feel like. I mean,
You
and
do.
people think it's huge, but it's really not
It's
that
not.
big. Like, it's really
It's not.
not. So,
It's
you
really
know,
yeah.
yeah. So
It's
thank
not.
you for what you do. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, I appreciate it. And the other thing is too is like never change because
Yeah.
I'm telling you there are channels that I watch because I do think like what they're saying makes sense, but
Yeah.
it's long and it's like what did they just say 10 minutes ago? And like sometimes, so I appreciate the fact that you're just like saying it. You're not trying to you're just saying it. You're like, no,
I
this and that,
freestyle.
and this
Yeah.
is why I don't like it. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think we need more of that, and
Yeah.
I have bullet points and I
Yeah.
come in, I'm like, I'm going to talk about Shador. I'm going to talk about Colorado's defense and I'm going to talk about this terrible offensive line. That's all I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Hit record. Let's see what I say. So
Yeah.
that's just how I do it.
And
And I
that's how
think
I
that,
do it too. And you do a really good job at what you do for sure. Yeah.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
appreciate it. I appreciate you noticing and I appreciate you researching me. That makes me feel good.
Absolutely. I got to do my homework. I'm big on doing homework for sure. Just like I told you with the players, when I do my homework, I tend to get the information I need and I got a lot of good
Yeah.
information about you. And I told my partners and kind of told a couple people in my community about you too. So when this video, when we're able to comment on this video, man, you're going to see some Vikings fan in the building for sure. They're going to
We'll
show
get it
love.
going for you.
Yeah,
Awesome. Well, I'll end this here and then I'm sure we'll chat again soon.
absolutely.
Awesome.